Hand washing is so important right now. Are you washing your hands properly, correctly? Are you sure you're washing them the right way? Stick with me for the next couple minutes and you'll know. So, first of all, if you're in the bathroom right now, finish up and wash your hands. Secondly, if you're not in the bathroom, what I want you to do is either pretend to wash your hands or go in the bathroom and actually wash your hands, and either film or just pay attention to what naturally happens. Hand washing is actually a habit. And here's the deal. Habits are hard to break, but if we pay attention to them, we can make new habits. Most people wash the front, wash the back, and then they're done. Some people do a scrub in between, but often miss scrubbing the other side. So you get here, but you miss here. If you do that well, you're doing pretty well. Then we can wash the fingertips. A lot of people miss that. But even if you get the fronts, the backs, the fingertips, and the in-betweens, most people still miss this little patch of thumb. So pay attention now to the video or to how you were just washing your hands. Usually you go here and then we wrap around, and notice I miss this little area right there. I go right there, I go right there, I come back around, I scrub, and I come back around. And then you miss a little chunk right there. So most people miss here and here. Now the other places people tend to miss, underneath rings, and then washing the ring itself. It doesn't do us much good if we wash our hands, but we leave the ring filthy dirty. And then the other place people miss is underneath the watch. It tends to be a really bad, really germy place. So we want to make sure that we get all of these places. And in order to do that, we need to change your habits. And I want you to think of your hands like two pair of dice. Now we want to be in paradise right now, but if you're not quarantined in paradise, think of your hands as a pair of dice, even if you are there. We want to get every face of the die. Now we want to get the fronts, the backs, the sides, the tips. This side we're going to just include the wrist, and then we're going to get inside the die, we're going to get the fingers. The CDC does fingertips, fronts and backs, sides. This little noogie is what I call it. And then each finger wrapping this way by itself. If you're scrubbing in and you're a doctor, what you do is you do 5 strokes on every surface. And they usually have a little sponge or something that is a medicated or a sponge. And you go like that. And you go on each finger 5 times. So either way, we want to make sure we get the whole finger and all the way up into right there. But hand washing is a habit. Most of us just do it without thinking. So we have to build these new habits. And the best thing to do is just make sure you get all of the parts, paying attention especially to this part and that part, and underneath the ring and on the ring itself. So let's go ahead and go through this. We turn on the water. We can get our hands wet, and then we get some soap. We get a good lather. And again, most people do the fronts and the backs and call it good. We want to go beyond that. So, fingertips, and if you have anything in the fingertips, you want to get underneath those fingernails. Make sure you get the thumb there, and we get in between. Doctors have a little tool for that. We're just going to do it with our hands. Get a little more soap. So, now I get the fingertips, and I'm just going to build new habits. Fronts, backs. Now I get the top of the die and the bottom of the die. And I have to get the in-betweens and the in-betweens the other way. You might go through each finger. Make sure you get the thumb. around the thumb, get that spot, and the wrist. And then we're going to do it underneath the water because the soap doesn't kill the germs. The soap just frees up the germs to go down. So we start from the fingertips, in-betweens, backs, fronts, little noogie. Get that thumb area, get that pinky area, and we're done. Now a lot of people will splash, but that might splash back some germs back onto my fingers. So I'm just going to let it drip, and I'm going to grab my towel, and we're going to work from the fingertips up. Because remember, I didn't wash my forearms, but I didn't wash my wrists past here. So if I go from here and then back down, I'm bringing all of these germs back onto my fingers. So I'm going to go fingertips, fingers, and work my way up, palm and onto the wrist. Now I'm going to fold that towel in half to make sure I'm not rubbing my wrist germs onto this hand, and I work my way up to the wrist, fold in half, water off, throw away, and I'm done. So that's how to properly wash your hands. Make a new habit. Make sure you hit these spots that you haven't been hitting, and then you'll be good. So if you learned something in this video, please share it with a loved one. I want you to be healthcare ambassadors and share this with anyone who needs to know that they're missing some parts of their hand. And I'll see you next time.